Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to Season 17 of League 1. We have for you tonight a special Week 1 game between the number 2 team in the country, Alabama, playing host to the number 3 team in the country, the reigning champion, Syracuse Orange. This is going to be an exciting game, especially because in this last off-season, veteran Alabama coach Nick Saban retired, and Alabama hired the former head coach of the Air Force Falcons, who were the national runner-up last year. So this is, in many senses, a rematch of the national title game from just a couple of weeks ago, except that this time, our head coach of the opponent has a little bit better roster to work with at Alabama than he had at the Air Force Academy. So this is going to be a good game. It's going to be an interesting game. And we're going to take a quick look at the Alabama roster here with the head coach of the Syracuse Orange, Coach Spectre. Coach.
That's right, Season 17 is underway. We've had one game played so far in the league. That was a Duke win over Wisconsin, as the Fresno State coach took the Duke head coaching job and got a win for the ACC in non-conference play. This will be the second game to open Season 17 for the league. The first game for Syracuse. We are on the road in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium. The lineup for the Crimson Tide features true sophomore Chad Ryan. He is a sophomore 92. He's got 80 awareness and very good athleticism with an excellent 90 power and 89 accuracy. This is his first year starting. He's a 92 sophomore. A little bit low at halfback for Alabama compared to previous years. Their starter's an 85, but we'll get to their offensive line in a second. It will provide him plenty of holes. At fullback, Dylan Rivero is a 79, could be used sometimes. Antonio Pearson leads the wide receiver corps. He's an impact player with 85 awareness. West, the true freshman, number 13, lucky number 13, West is an 80 overall freshman. He'll be getting the start over Williams, who'll be in the slot. Wesley, Jerome Wesley, is a 99 tight end who will be heavily utilized. Alabama has a tight end friendly offense, and the coach at Air Force did utilize their tight end last year to some effect. It'll be interesting to see his level of involvement. He is a dangerous weapon when utilized. The offensive line, the strength of the offense, Joe Wayne at left tackle is a 92. Their worst offensive lineman is the senior left guard Bobby Bradley, an 88. At center, Reggie Foreman is an All-American returner as a 99 overall. At right guard, a 91 senior. And at right tackle, a 97 junior All-American in Nathan DeLoach. Their two defensive ends scary as well. Jeff Pierce, excellent speed, and just about everything else. A 93 left end. A 92 impact player right end with 83 speed. Should be excellent pass rush from the Crimson Tide. At D tackle, Rashawn Rosario, very well balanced, athletic, good pass rusher, excellent moves. He will be another third weapon in the pass rush, even from a four-man front. Nixon can come in on four-man fronts and be the second D tackle. He's more of a human being than the other starters so far. Left outside linebacker, true sophomore, Brian Johnson, was a freshman All-American last year. He's an 86 true sophomore. He'll be playing left outside. He's got excellent coverage skills and very good athleticism. Middle linebacker, the star of the defense, Ryan Peoples, is a 95 overall with 95 awareness, and his man and zone coverage both in the mid to high 80s, along with 71 catching. He will be a threat on any pass over the middle and is smart enough and athletic enough and has good tackling enough to be a force in the running game as well. Right outside linebacker Michael Hill's an 85 junior. He's also an impact player to begin this season. At corner, Chris Harrison comes in on a hot streak from last season. He's a 94 overall with 96 awareness, a definition shutdown corner. McFarland and Jones, while only 84 and 81, both have 84 awareness and very good catching. They can make plays if we're not careful. Free safety Victor Love, another human being, an 86 junior, playing there in the free safety spot, along with Adam Smith, the true sophomore, 87, at strong safety. Decent special teams with an 84 and a sophomore 90 rounds out the Alabama attack. Now looking at this year's Syracuse team, we lost 9 starters on offense and 5 on defense for a total of 14 out of 22 starters gone. We do return Fran Tarkenton, a quality backup for the last couple of seasons. He's seen plenty of action and he has the capability, but he is backed up by no one. The same holds true at halfback. Ernest Biner will be carrying the load, backed up by a couple of fullbacks, as Syracuse has no depth this year at quarterback and halfback. Fullbacks, Frank Wycheck and Newhouse will be doing fullback duties as well as picking up the slack in other areas. Allworth, the leader of the wide receiver corps, the second best offensive player, a 95 wide receiver. He will be a weapon. Anderson, Sanders, and Monk round out a very solid young rest of the wide receiver corps. At tight end, Jerry Smith is a 90 junior. He's no Mark Bavaro, but he is capable at a lot of things, and to his benefit, his best skill is his 99 awareness. The offensive line decimated by graduation. Howard Ballard starts for the first time in his career, an 87 senior. Mark May starts for the first time as a 91 junior. Jeff Bostic making his first start as a sophomore 90 center. Russ Grimm making his first start at right guard. And Forrest Gregg making his first start. A lot of redshirt sophomores. Syracuse recruited a bunch of them a few years ago. They will be growing into their own, but right now they are untested. Charles Mann returns at defensive end. He will be a 92 left end this year. He's played right for the last couple seasons. The right end, covered by Jason Buck, is a 90 this year. D-tackle, Dave Butts returns, a key returnee. We desperately needed him as we are thin at D-tackle this year. Halfback, quarterback, and D-tackle, the thinnest positions on the roster by far. We've got 2 that are on the active roster. Butts and Ball are excellent, but not a whole lot behind them. Derek Brooks at left outside linebacker will be trying to fill some very big shoes. He is going to try to come close to the production of Kevin Green. Green, of course, the first 4-time winner of both the Bednarik and Nagurski Awards, is gone. Brooks takes over a key position within our scheme, and he is starting for the first time. London Fletcher at middle linebacker returns, a key return essential for the defense given the number of new players. He will hope to anchor the middle of the linebacker core. Wilbur Marshall, a freshman redshirt 86, will be starting for the first time. Champ Bailey returns, another key returnee for the defense. Champ Bailey was an All-American, was among the nation's leaders in interceptions last year, made several big plays, was an impact player. We expect him to be a force on defense again this year. He is backed up by Tracy Porter, a senior 92, also with 99 awareness, and Jerry Gray, another senior, rounds out the strongest position group for Syracuse this season. Brad Edwards, coming back at free safety, adds on to an already threatening secondary to make it devastating. And Brian Jordan, a 90 senior, rounds out an excellent secondary for the Orange. We hope to be able to stop some passing attacks and avoid turnovers on offense. Again, we have 9 new starters out of 11 on offense. So the defense will be leaned on this year. We expect to have most of our starters in the 90s on defense and lean heavily on that throughout the year. We will certainly need it today in Tuscaloosa, facing off against the number 2 Crimson Tide. This is a top 5 matchup. It is on the road. There's so many unknowns as we start a new season, as we have new teams, new coaches, and we are anxious to see what kind of team we have this year and what season 17 could hold. This is a great way to kick off the year. We're glad you could join us. We hope you'll join us throughout season 17. We've got tons of great matchups on the way, including a couple of key user games next week That'll be announced in the near future. Without further ado, we'll get this first game underway, and I'll turn the microphone back over to the silky sweet sounds of the voice of Syracuse football, Coach Ninja, the head coach of the number 22 ranked Navy midshipmen.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate the in-depth analysis of both the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Syracuse Orange in tonight's Warm Colors Bowl in Alabama. For those of us who may have joined us late, it is worth reiterating that this is a rematch between the two coaches who coached in the national title game of season 16. Yes, that's right. The head coach of the Air Force Falcons, who went 12-1 to be the runners-up, got the Alabama coaching job when Nick Saban retired. I like to think that maybe, just maybe, he finally bucked up his courage and said, you know what? I'll give the Cleveland Browns 3 years, you know? Maybe we decided it was finally time to try the NFL again.
He did send me a thank you. The new coach of Alabama did send me a thank you card for declining the offer.
Yes. Yes, the Alabama job was offered to Coach Spectre. He was forced to turn it down by league bylaws. But yes, the head coach of Alabama sent a nice thank you note and said, sort of a PS, how about a rematch? What about, say, week 1? And they sort of showed up to the NCAA and said, hey, so we're going to do this. We've already booked flights and hotels. And the NCAA said, but you didn't. And they were like, well, I'm sorry, kickoff's in 5 minutes. We're already playing this game. You can deal with it. Off the top of my head, I do not know what Air Force's rank is this season to begin the season. They are I've been told they're in the top 10. I will say they did lose a considerable amount of players to graduation. I do know that. As we see now, Foreman, Wesley, and Deloach, the number 1 players for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and the away team of Tarkenton, Butts, and Edwards leading the way for the Orange. Coach, do you know off the top of your head who's number 1? Stanford. Stanford is ranked number 1. I think they finished 3rd or 4th last year. As it is a rainy game here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
NCAA Football 14 pregame show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. We had to add a little bit of electricity to the marquee to get it bright enough for this one. 2 top 5 teams, and frankly, it just doesn't get better than a matchup like this. Sit back and enjoy. Thanks for checking out the pregame show. NCAA college football action coming up next with Brad and Kirk on the call. David and I will see you at halftime.
Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, 1/2 a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. 1/2 second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're gonna do the same for him. Right? That's a team, gentlemen.
Spanning more than 15 successful seasons and covering the country from Florida, North Carolina, Iowa, Ohio, Oklahoma, California, and Virginia, this is League One NCAA football.
As Champ Bailey takes the return, gets to about the 19-yard line. It's also interesting to note that in addition to just the NCAA league history that is alternate within this dynasty, it's worth understanding that in the universe of NCAA 14, Joseph Tito was assassinated in 1947 by the NKVD, and Somaliland is a separate country. As we see Lance Allworth on the drag get 4 yards for Fran Tarkenton's first pass as the starting quarterback of the Syracuse Orange. 2nd and 6 now from the 21, so I guess they started on the 15.
From their own 21-yard line, it's 2nd down.
4-man front, but very wide, with 2 linebackers right in the middle of it. Nobody over the center. Tarkenton keeps it. He breaks wide, and the defense hits him hard. Garrison picks it up, and that's a scoop and score on the second play of the game. The booth is looking at it, and they definitely see the fumble. Fran Tarkenton hit hard in the rain, loses the ball. Ooh, go American.
34-24. In other action, Colorado State and Colorado square off in the Rocky Mountain Showdown. And for Colorado State,
Indeed.
they grab a W in the season opener. The Rams grab the win by 5.
Thanks, Reese. 7-0 game here.
And a minute in, really 3 plays.
He just drills this one.
And Kraus catches it this time. He tries to break around. There's some blocking. He gets pushed out at the 31.
At the 30. Alabama's defense got the stop they wanted on that first drive. Now let's see if they can do it again.
And just listen to this crowd, Brad. I mean, you can practically feel the energy coming down from the crowd and how it's impacting these players.
Ooh, Georgia lost to Arkansas.
This offense has got to try to pull it all together now after the fumble cost them 6 points just moments ago.
It's a shotgun ace here. We got 2 tight ends. It looks like a 5-3-2 kind of deal. The pitch is out to Biner. He's got 1 safety to beat. He gets tackled. It's a 17-yard gain by Ernest Biner on the pitch. Great job by Tarkenton to wait until the last moment, make the defender commit. Ooh, Boise over Tulane. Tulane might not be as good this year.
You were the only person I would have ever pointed that out to.
Yeah.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 47-yard line.
3-3 defense against the shotgun normal halfback week. Tarkenton keeps it, and he's swarmed by defenders after a 6-yard gain.
So he calls his own number and gets about 6 yards.
sort of sandwiched between a couple of guys coming off their blocks. It's 2nd and 4 now, just across the midfield stripe.
They'll line up with 5 wide receivers.
Allworth hits his stride right between a couple of zones, and Tarkenton puts the ball right there. He gets about 6 and is stopped in that little triangle in the middle of the Venn diagram. From the left hash now, only 2 down linemen this time. A lot of different looks from the Alabama defense. Ernest Biner catches it out of the backfield 4 yards and is decked by the middle linebacker. Second and 6 from the 34. 5 wide receivers. Dime defense.
Empty backfield.
Allworth in the right slot. Tarkenton lets the clock tick down. Tarkenton is scrambling out. He's got some space. Allworth, having not played in the slot previously, runs out of bounds, has no clue how to play downfield run blocking. He's not James Lofton. And Tarkenton runs for the first down, but he's looking at Allworth like, what are you doing? You could have had that guy right there. He was your guy. Shotgun normal. It looks like a 3-3-5 split with the safety and the linebacker on the left. Biner up the middle. It's a 2-yard gain to 2nd and 8. That was Newhouse, the fullback, in at quarterback there to give Fran Tarkenton just a bit of a read.
It's 2nd down and 8. Ball on the 19.
Shotgun split big now. It looks like a 3-4 defense from the Tide. And they get to Tarkenton before he can get the pass off. It's a loss of 9 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 17.
Unique relationship. A quarterback should take care of his offensive line. But after that play and that hit, you really got to be wondering what kind of relationship this quarterback and his offensive lineman have after that.
And this play is number 8 on the drive. And they're going to put 6 DBs on the field to counter that 5-receiver look.
Tarkenton scrambling. He's pursued. And he gets pushed out of bounds at a loss of 4. It's 4th and 21 from the 32-yard line. We're going to see a 49-yard field goal now, making sure that the leg is the right one. So, we have a bylaw that says there's a number of coaching perks that you can have in this game. One of them affects the number of recruiting points that you can spend on any given recruit in a week. The default is 500 per week. Having the maximum, which is 3 points in that perk called the kitchen sink, allows you to spend 700 points on them per week. We do not let you move. We do not let you move at all unless it is to your alma mater if you are at 700. You must be at 2 out of 3, which is 600 points. But in order to be eligible, you must stay at 2 out of 3, 600 points, for 2 full seasons. And only after 2 full seasons of being at 600 and staying at 600 are you eligible to move. This reflects the idea that if you convince a player that, hey, you should come and play for me because I've got the game plan that's going to fit your play style, you should still be there. And the field goal is good.
It's automatic, baby, and it feels good. And it feels so good. Good. And it feels so good.
Yes, the game allows respecking in the preseason. Additionally, a lot of coaches, such as myself, will keep a number of perk points unspent, TBD, because there's a couple of different things during the season that I could decide, hey, I need more points late in the season, I need more lock picks, I need more off-season points. I can make that decision once the season has started. But yes, fundamentally, the game does allow you to respec. In part because it really sort of reflects budgeting time and money differently. This is the first play on offense for Alabama, the first defensive play, as Brooks gets close, and Antonio Pearson gets 23 yards after breaking a tackle into half.
That was a big play, and on first down, no less.
First down, 10 to go. Ball on the 48-yard line.
Brooks down at the feet. Williams catches it this time and is thrown head over heels. Chad Ryan now 2 out of 2.
Guys to rush the quarterback. The offense will have favorable matchups to get the ball downfield.
From the 39-yard line. First down.
Marshall in the backfield, no tight end, 4 wide receivers for Alabama. Mike Marshall gets a loss of a yard
The capability to gain solid, consistent yardage. They have to
as he is met
a bit more motivated next time.
in the backfield by a speedy defense.
Syracuse run defense has been top 3 the past 5 years.
They'll spread the field here. Let's see what the defense does.
5 wide receivers, Brooks to the feet. Williams catches it. The defender tried for it, was out of position, turns it into a 13-yard catch.
Quarterback at any level. Can they make a good throw under pressure with 1 or 2 or 3 guys are coming right at him? I think this young passer has proven that yes, he can.
From the 27-yard line. It's first down. Alabama.
Marshall left side, 1st and 10 now, 4 wide receivers. And West gets tackled immediately as the bubble screen thingy gets sniffed out immediately by the defense. And that's 2nd and 10 now from the 27. Alabama leads 7-3. And Alabama, as we've mentioned, being coached by the former head coach of the Air Force Falcons, the runner-up in the national title game last season. Here having a coaching rematch as we see 3 wide receivers bunched up on the right here on 2nd and 10. And Chad Ryan throws the ball away, his first incompletion of the game. It's now 3rd and long.
Third down now. They need to get it to the 17.
Ryan with time, leaves the pocket, throws it up. And Tracy Porter almost deflects it down into the hands of first a receiver and then his teammate. It's going to be 4th and 10, and the Tide are going to bring out a field goal unit.
So the kicker comes out. He'll try to put 3 points.
Long field goal here in a rainy stadium. It's up and it's wide. That's an 84 sophomore. He misses the field goal wide left. That's going to be a turnover at the spot then. Saves 3 points on the miss, and it gives 27-yard line as the field position for Syracuse to begin their 3rd drive of the game. First one ended with a fumble and a scoop and score. The second went for a field goal. And this is the third as the late slant goes to Ricky Sanders for 19. A great throw on the run by Tarkenton. You can see on the replay here, he doesn't get time to stop. He throws it to Sanders in space, cuts up field for another 1.5 yards.
They can throw on the run the way that
1st and 10. Ball on the 46-yard.
46-yard line. Shotgun ace. Tarkenton looking for it, doesn't see it, slides down after a 9-yard gain. 2nd and 1
He made a good decision to take off.
into Crimson territory. And
It's 2nd down now. They're just a few feet away from that 1st down.
And Biner cuts outside for 6-yard gain. Good run to end the first quarter. Five wide now for Tarkenton. Dime defense for the Tide. Tarkenton looks to move out of the pocket, sees the cornerback coming down, and says, "No, I am not leaving," and waits for Anderson on the underneath, who gets 9 yards, 2 feet, 10 inches. After he cuts away from his coverage. 2nd and inches now from the right hash. Every coach's favorite down and distance. We're still 5 wide for the Orange. Biner comes in motion. Tarkenton keeps it. He gets 1 yard and the first barely, as the defender gets off his block real fast on the motion read option. Looks like as they go to the sideline, Tarkenton is apologizing to Biner, saying, "Hey, no, I know I messed that handoff up. I meant to give it to you and it didn't work." For those of you who are college football fans, I do highly recommend going on to Reddit to r/CFB. There was a great AMA today by a guy who claims to have been the worst ever starting halfback in the history of Division I. And Tarkenton outside, one man to beat, pushed out of bounds at the 4. Great run, great blocking, great jump outside for Tarkenton. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 3. Good evening, SD61. So, yes, that that national championship game was close, and let me bring you up to speed on the important coaching news. Because if you thought that game was exciting, wait till you hear about this one. Because Nick Saban retired in our coaching carousel in this offseason. And while Coach Spectre was offered the Alabama job, he was forced to turn it down by league bylaws. And it was taken by none other than the head coach of Air Force. So this is a coaching rematch of the national championship game from 2 weeks ago. And Allworth there on the drag gets the touchdown. It's the first touchdown of the game for the Orange. And 6:20 to go in the second. Congratulations, Leon, on entering the calzone zone. I'm sure you will enjoy your delicious Italian-cured meats and cheeses. Yes, indeed, it was quite the surprise and the shock on Sunday. Actually, Coach Spectre and I were here together working on League One things when we found out about Kobe Bryant. It was a surprise and it was a shock, and I know that it was big news within League One as well, as just in general. So yeah, no, it was just a big surprise, and I'll admit I've never been much of a NBA guy, but it was definitely a big surprise, and definitely something that the outpouring really showed how much it meant, not only to LA, but to a lot of different parts of the country and the world for different reasons.
Penalties can ruin a team's chances to win if they commit too many.
Teaching some life lessons about appreciating our friends.
I can understand especially for that, the Southern California community. I can really understand that that's how you're feeling as you see a fantastic outside run there by Mike Marshall. But SD, Coach Spectre did want me to pass on to you that one of the things that he had was actually really, really meaningful in the days after was his nephew is a really big NBA fan. He's 14 years old and was really able to connect and talk about Kobe and what he meant to him and them, and connect with his nephew on a personal level, and really talk about how important it is to be in the moment and appreciate the people who are around you. So he got a lot of value, and that was really important to him in a really personal way, which he wanted to communicate to you, because it's clearly something that's also really, really been big for you. So we appreciate you coming here and talking to us a little bit about it.
So a short three-play, 62-yard drive, and they get it in for 7. So our score, 14.
In Alabama, after a couple of big plays that, I'll be honest, I only paid slightly passing attention to, because we were catching up. But Alabama now back in the lead at 14-10, 5:35 remaining. That was a bang drive for the Crimson Tide.
Right back in to be able to regain the lead. It's going to be an exciting finish.
There hasn't been too much daylight between these two teams. In games like this,
5 wide receivers now.
too much, and that can cause mistakes. They come out in an empty backfield.
Tarkenton out of the pocket. He's between a couple of defenders. He gets 1 yard as the player was playing a short zone, and he was pursued out of the pocket. Fran Tarkenton did just about as much as he could. All right. So SD says a big thanks. I think he really appreciates your comments and your story there, despite the fact that you're in the middle of trying to beat Alabama with 5:08 on the clock. Indubitably.
Second down.
All right, we're on the left hash mark now. It's a shotgun. Y trips, maybe a normal. Nope. Yeah, Y trips. Tarkenton doesn't like the look and throws the ball away. A couple of receivers there ran into each other coming out of the tight end in the slot position, and it messed up everything. It's going to be 3rd and 9 now from their own 26. Just under 5. Yeah, the Alabama Crimson Tide, a very good team with a coach who, more than anything else, like the Air Force had a good offense last year, but they had a great defense last year, and we're seeing a continued of that. Now Tarkenton looking for it on 3rd down, and looks like yes, he's going to get it on the ground. When the left slot sort of looks like he's going to go for it, but stops his run and breaks the pass so that Tarkenton has to make the run. Yeah, that's fantastic. I've read a little bit about what the NBA is doing for the All-Star game in the wake of this, and I do think that the cancellation of the Clippers game and everything I've heard has been that people being really good and really making some good decisions and really doing their best for the community that is so impacted and felt by this. It's interesting because just from the particular subset of things that I listen to and that I consume over the past week, I have heard more about how Kobe Bryant apparently undertook a study of leadership and how to lead and made, concrete decisions about how he was going to be, what kind of leader he was going to be, which has just been tremendously interesting to me because that's a very interesting topic to me. Tarkenton with the incompletion. Lucky to get it incomplete with a tremendous pass rush. So as someone who was never a Lakers fan, was never somebody who's followed the NBA all that closely, I've learned about that angle to Kobe Bryant in the past week that I've found to be tremendously interesting. Yes, and you're right. That's absolutely always something that you never want to have that as a family. It's not great. To your question, Navy's got a really strong team this season as Fran Tarkenton fails to get the snap off. And it's going to be a 3rd and 9 now.
Make it the hot route. You kept trying to change the play. I'm like, no, I'm not calling a new play. I'm calling a hot route.
It'll be 3rd down again after that penalty.
As we see Coach and Tarkenton both frustrated on the sidelines, as now it's 3rd and 9 from their own 39, 3:03 in the half. But as I said, to your question, we got a lot of good things that we like about Navy this year. We got a freshman redshirt 83 quarterback who's going to be our starter because we lost a recruit who transferred out. As Smith is wide open on the PA Power O, that's exactly what the Orange needed in the face of this Alabama defense who's been covering the shotgun so well. And that moves them forward. It moves them to the 35. It puts them on the other side of the field. And it very importantly keeps the ball moving for the Syracuse Orange, who are down by 4. As I said, a lot of good things to like about Navy. We've got 2 halfbacks back. We've got a fantastic defense this year. But, you know, there's still some questions as Tarkenton now comes out in the flex bone against a 3-4 defense in motion from left to right. Tarkenton keeps it and gets 6. You know, I can understand the temptation, and I will say we've got a number of coaches in the league now, 4 out of our 10, who are what I would call internet friends. We only know them from the internet. We see a 2-4 defense. Looks like a dime 2-4-6 or whatever they call it, as he waits for Smith. Tarkenton waits for Smith to slip between zones and get to a 3rd and 1. So, you know, it is not outside the realm of possibility that we have internet friends in the league, but it's not a low bar to meet. But we always appreciate everybody's interest and everybody showing up and talking to us and enjoying the game and talking to X's and O's with us. I absolutely agree that, you know, if there's cross-play, that would be fantastic. If there is eventually another NCAA game, which I think is a possibility, but I don't think it's sooner than 5 years away, personally. On 3rd and 1, Tarkenton under center in the eye. We got 3 down linemen, and they're wide in a 3-4. It's a handoff to Wk1, who gets no gain as the linebacker comes in with phenomenal timing and no blocking. And it's 4th and 1 from the 26 now. There's 1:27 in a live clock. And Syracuse is going to spend one of their 12 first down attempts for the regular season. Anderson over the middle. There's a flag on the play. Clipping. It is going to be 4th and 10 now from the 35 because of the clipping play. That's a massive penalty. Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, like, we're all hopeful. We've run into enough glitches that it's really important that we want a new game, and, you know, for the legal things, we think I hope there's a new game. I think there's probably a new game in the future, but I'm not holding my breath. 52 yards into a 1-yard, slightly oblique wind in the rain. And it's right down the middle. It's a 1-point gain after the penalty takes back the 4th down conversion. And don't think I missed your compliment, X-Road. I saw it and appreciate it. And as we now have a kickoff to Alabama, they've got 1:08 and 3 timeouts before halftime. Absolutely, SD. I mean, you know, the fact is that really nothing about that story is good. Nothing.
I think this defense right now needs somebody to try to lift up their spirits. They seem to really be just out there kind of going through the motions. And I think the last time they were out there when they gave up such a long drive.
Oh, and a huge pick by Gray on the sideline route. Gray, the second corner, a huge play. No, I appreciate that SD6. But it's also we're here to enjoy other people and talk to other people, and clearly this is what's on your mind. So I don't have any problem talking about it with you, but I also don't have too much to add because, as I said, like it's I'm not from LA. I'm not a basketball person. I have much less connection with this personally than you do, but it's clearly what's important to you. So I don't want to downplay what it means to you or ignore that at all. Yeah, as coach has just said to me, we appreciate our viewers and we appreciate what's important to them. Tarkenton over the middle, and it's incomplete. I will save that question for 57 game seconds from now when we're about to head into halftime, as it's now 3rd and 10 now for Syracuse from the 28-yard line.
What's your go-to 10-yard pass to the left side of the field?
3rd down now, and they need to get it to the 18.
Good, hold on to it. That's it's clearly something that's going to be something I think you're going to have good meaning for you and your friends for some years to come, as Tarkenton scrambles out of the pocket and the field is open for a huge 3rd down conversion, gets to the 4.5-yard line on the 23-yard rush to keep the drive alive. Awesome. Yeah, rookie cards are a special thing. My dad's a big baseball fan, so I was able to get from a friend a few years ago a number of cards of rookie cards of Red Sox players, and cards that were rookie cards and cards that were from the 2004 season. When the Red Sox won the World Series, so that was great. That was a great gift to give him, as Ernest Biner gets the 5-yard run to take the lead back with 47 seconds. Coach is mentioning that he went to high school with Eddie George and has about 30-35 rookie cards of Eddie George. So clearly, as I said, those are something special. Those are things to hold on to. They mean a lot. And now he's worried about dating himself. But now that Syracuse is kicking off for a moment, I will mention. So SD has asked whether or not you think the Wizards are going to stick with John Wall.
And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback.
And his response is, what's their other option? I agree with him, because everything I've heard about it is that John Wall's contract is terrible and nobody else is going to touch it with a 12-foot pole.
But they can't go 20 and 60. Right now they're mediocre. Right now they're like 500.
So, I will counter that with, I really hope the Padres do not get Mookie Betts, because I love Mookie Betts and I need him to stay at the Red Sox. I need him to stay at the Red Sox so badly. A great start on the throwaway as far as the defense is concerned.
From their own 25-yard line. 2nd down. They come out of
5 wide receivers now in the shotgun. 2nd and 10. Brooks at the feet, but it gets off to West. West breaks the tackle. Porter coming over. And the safety takes him down after a 47-yard gain.
Diagnosed the blitz immediately and had time to improvise for the big play. That's the kind of quick thinking you need to succeed as a quarterback.
You couldn't have been closer.
It's 1st down and 10 now after picking up some great yardage through the air. They'll spread the field with 5 wide.
Ooh, and Martin Mayhew deflects the ball. He gets his hands on it, almost gets the pick, and that's a big play there for the defense, trying to slow down this Alabama offense, who looked like they might be stalling out, and then went 47 yards downfield.
Senior, 87. Yeah, regular playoff.
Syracuse is their second time out of the half.
I will admit to not being particularly familiar with the history of the Padres, as I grew up an American League fan, as a fan of the Red Sox, as you can clearly guess.
84 Pentagon.
Brooks, this time with the sack. Two big defensive plays for the Orange, trying to slow down this Alabama defense before the half.
Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. And another one gone. And another one gone. Another one bites the dust. Hey, we're gonna get to do. Another one bites the dust. Shoot up.
Ryan, late, and it's picked off in the end zone by Champ Bailey. The coverage forces the late throw, and it's picked off in double coverage. Also, Leon, I am very glad that you made a good decision for dinner. Now, as coach is making some formation subs for the chance at 22 seconds to glory here with the lead against Alabama.
They're recommending a punt. That's too funny. That I hit them by accident.
Okay. So this is okay. So I was gonna say, did you end up going to the less good pizza place that has a minimum charge, or the fancier place that doesn't? Okay, this is a place that has mediocre pizza but has a stellar calzone. Who would have guessed? A good catch, 4 seconds on the PA Power O to the right side. 18 seconds remaining in the half. And again, Allworth, he gets 7 yards and out of bounds. Out of bounds stops the clock, but it is 2nd and 3. From the 44.5-yard line, Allworth opened quickly and decked 15 yards into enemy territory, 11 seconds on the clock. Syracuse, out of timeouts, needs to go about 10 yards and stop the clock. Depending on the play, they could do it in 2 different plays, but they might only be able to do it in 1. Who knows? Allworth catches it, drags his feet. Allworth in the tight end position. He turns around like it's a curl route, knowing that when he's going to start falling over, the ball will be in his chest.
From the 31-yard line. First down. Syracuse with a 6-point lead.
7 seconds to go in the half. Tarkenton, 9 yards, 3 seconds remain. And it's the 22-yard line. They're going to send out the field goal unit for a 39-yard field goal. It's up, and it's good. It's going to be 23-14 at the half.
We're halfway through, and it's been a good one. 23-14.
The 2 picks, the secondary, the story of the game after the scoop and score by the Alabama defense on the second play of the game.
EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime
Defense
presented by Nissan.
doing great.
That excites. Reese Davis, David Pollack here in the studio as always to lend a little perspective to what just went down in the first 30 minutes. You know who I feel sorry for in that
Holding the
first
defense
half? The poor production assistant on SportsCenter who's going to try to sift through all of those highlights and come out with the ones he's going to choose to try to make the SportsCenter top 10.
No, there's definitely a lot to choose from, but that's what you like as a fan. I think the fans, they like that and enjoy that more than they like seeing great defense. They like seeing guys go up and make huge one-handed stabs and guys make big, long diving touchdown runs, and they like all that. So they like watching guys hurdle over guys. You see it all the time. So I think the kids know that too, and they're trying to do their best to always, make a huge play, make a big explosive play, and put a little cherry on top of that play, so then they can be maybe on one of
Dude,
those
I'm firing
ESPN
ghost
top
bullets,
plays.
man. I don't know what's
Just
going on.
about set to start the second half. What are you looking for?
I'm looking to see which team has that decided schematical advantage.
And if they can find it, they'll blow holes 3 or 4 axe handles wide. Brad and Kirk will be there to call the second half.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We're going to take a quick look at your halftime stats and then take a little bit of a break as we enjoy our halftimes. So the score is 23-14. That's a 9-point lead. Syracuse has 13 first downs to Alabama's 7 and leads in total offense 253-147. Rushing is a big difference here. 117 on 18 rushes versus 22 on 3. Similar yardage through the air, 136 and 125. Alabama 0 for 2 on third down. Not a lot of third downs, but none successful. The Orange, 3 out of 5. The turnovers, 2-1 in favor of Syracuse. It's a fumble to 2 picks. Time of possession also squarely in Syracuse's favor. Very quick drives when successful for Alabama. Your player stats are as follows. Fran Tarkenton is 13 for 17, 136 yards, 1 touchdown. It's a 76 percentage, 10.4 average, 2 sacks. Chad Ryan is 8 out of 14 for 125 with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. That's 57%, but the average is 15.6. He's been sacked once. Marshall is 2 for 30. Ryan's sack loses 8 on the ground. On the ground, Tarkenton leads the way with 12 for 81. That's a 6.7 average. Biner has a longer average of 7.5, but he's only got 4 touches so far. Wycheck and Newhouse, the 2 fullbacks, each with a touch as well. Through the air, Allworth leads the way with 8 for 74. He's helped out by Smith, the tight end, 2 for 29. Sanders, Anderson, and Biner each have 1. Alabama, on the other hand, is 4 to West and 4 to Williams and 3 to West for 50-ish yards each. That's where the bulk of their yards are coming from. Defensively, Peoples and Love lead the way. Peoples, unsurprisingly, as the 95 leader of the defense. Pierce, Williams, McFarland, and Smith sort of rounding it out as all the others. Syracuse, on the other hand, Porter, the corner, leading the way with tackles, which is surprising for a corner. And then Jordan, Brooks, Bailey, Mann, all the way around. Not a whole lot of tackles. It's really Porter who's just everywhere so far this game. All right, so thank you for joining us. This is our halftime. It's 23-14, and we will resume shortly.
Everything's fresh. Thanks.
All right. And now we resume with the third quarter. Alabama receiving the ball from Syracuse to start.
The third quarter. He just drills this one.
Garrison takes the knee.
This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback.
I got to double check that again. Took him out manually.
There's got to be some sense of urgency to this offense right now. They don't have the luxury of wasting drives if they want to get back in the game.
4 wide receivers single back. Zach Williams, 2 yards.
It's 2nd down and 8. Ball on the 27.
Handoff to Marshall. He goes outside. And the secondary comes down to stop him. 0-yard gain. Brad Edwards, the strong safety, with the tackle. It's going to be 3rd and 8.
From their own 27-yard line. It's 3rd down.
It is 3rd and long now. Tight end motions from left to right. It is a screen. It's read well, and it loses 5 yards. That screen did not fool anyone on the defense, and it's going to force a punt now from Alabama. This 3 and out is exactly how the Orange wanted to begin the 3rd quarter.
I've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way. I've been taking care of business. It's over.
Paul Krause with a 5-yard return.
Business and working overtime.
So we're just about ready to return to action. Empty backfield, quarterback in the
5 wide receivers for the Orange. 4 down linemen in the dime. Tarkenton scrambles out.
Now he's scrambling.
He doesn't like the look. Tarkenton gets to the 1st down marker and is decked.
The ability to scramble, and it showed right there on that play.
From their own 46-yard line. It's 1st down.
From the 46 and the left hash, it's the wide trips against the 3-3-5. Tight end and a halfback on the right. 2 more receivers on the right. Newhouse keeps it on the read option. Robert Newhouse, the fullback, in for quarterback. And he keeps it on the read option. He gets 6 yards. And it is 2nd and 4 in Crimson territory. Biner, the halfback, out of the backfield on the route out into the flat with a great spin move and great blocking by number 13, the wide receiver, Sanders. Spin moves 2 guys and perfectly timed, and the receiver comes back and blocks the guy for a huge gain to the halfback. 1st and 10 now from the 11 after the big play. Fran Tarkenton comes out now in the flex bone. And Love with the pick and space. And he's slow. Someone's going to catch him. Please, dear God, somebody catch him. And he sheds a tackle. Can somebody else catch him? Can somebody else? This is the longest return I've ever seen. Can somebody else please catch him? Tarkenton, get in his way. Stop him. Stop him, please. Looks like a miscue by Tarkenton, and he threw to the wrong guy. And then Love just said, "You know what? I'm the tortoise. I'm going to win this race." It's now 1st and goal from the 1 for Alabama. Now I miss the fact that we don't have the Benny Hill music anymore. 5 wide receivers. And it's Zach Williams, and it's short. And back of the end zone, but there's a flag. Illegal touching on the tight end, Kevin Hall. He went out of bounds and came back in. It's going to be 3rd and goal from the 6. That's a big, big penalty against Alabama. You don't see that every day.
It's 3rd and goal from the 5. Let's see.
3rd and goal from the 5. 5 wide receivers. Quarter defense. It's over the middle, and it is dropped. It is dropped. 4th and goal now from the 6, and the field goal formation comes out. What a stop. The pick, the almost return, the return to the 2. The quarterback with a 4-point tackle that said, "I'm never going to get this guy from behind, but I am faster than him, so I will get in front of him to trip him." I was the only way. And then great defense.
His kick team lined up, and he is set to kick this one off. Nice kick, plenty of distance.
Kraus, he gets outside. He's past the 20. He's past the 30. He's past the 40. Couple of guys left. He gets to the 54-yard return by Paul Kraus.
They were able to come up with a decent return.
So, Leon says League 1 has peaked. Season 17 is over. We have retired. We're going to keep playing a few more downs just to keep sure. We'll let you know when Season 17 is over. As Tarkenton comes out at the half-field stripe.
The first rule on offense is to take care of the football. These guys need to remember that on this drive.
Tarkenton comes out. He waits. He throws on the run to Anderson, who catches it and falls over for 6.
Yards with a catch.
Mm-hmm.
They're about 4 yards away here on 2nd down. Syracuse up 6.
2nd and 4 now out of the split big. Tarkenton being chased. He gets about 10 yards.
1 yard line.
We could. We very well could, Leon. But, that'd be a lot of work. We'd have to write a whole new constitution if we started a League 2. Like, all of the, all the...
Promotion, relegation.
all of the verbiage in our Constitution is wrong. Like, there's so many things. It'd just be a lot of work. So, you know, we'll see if we, you know, this is League 1 asterisk.
First and 10. Ball on the 31-yard line.
Shotgun normal halfback weak now from the left hash. 3-3-5 defense. Newhouse hands it off to Biner. And 9 yards on the ground on the handoff. Makes it 2nd and 1.
Short yardage situation here. It's 2nd down and 1.
Tarkenton now under center in the eye. Tight end is on the right. It's a handoff to Biner. He runs around the left tackle. He gets 3 yards and is decked by the corner.
Yeah, they're starting to hit 3 times now. Second shirt I've called the eye, so they're starting to look for it. That's fine. That's fine.
First down, 10 yards to go. Ball on the 19.
Shotgun normal, halfback weak, 3-3-5 defense.
This time in the red zone.
Tarkenton gets the ball away. The pass rush broke through big time. Lucky to get it away.
Feeling pressure to throw the ball just to throw the ball. If you feel like you're not going to be able to make a play and the defense got you, just give up on that play and get ready for the next down.
Over the course of the season, there's more picks. I'll take a dangerous incompletion over more picks.
From the 19-yard line. 2nd down.
Tarkenton, 5 wide receivers on 2nd and 10.
Empty backfield. 5 wide receivers in the formation.
Allworth,
Face mask. Face mask. Come on.
1 yard.
Hit hard immediately.
He's asking for the penalty, and he's not going to get it. It's going to be 3rd and 9 from the 18.
We have a gift. Last drive on them.
From the 18-yard line. 3rd down. Syracuse is up by 6.
And Syracuse calls a timeout just before the delay of game penalty.
It's 3rd and 9. Ball on the 18. Scrambling around.
And Tarkenton throws the ball away when he doesn't like anything. And the field goal unit comes out onto the field.
It's up, and it's put.
It's going to be 26-17 now.
Knight has the ball all teed up, and he's ready to kick this one off. Excellent kick. And it goes into the end zone, down for a touchback.
Syracuse game plan is to put the ball in the air. You've got to have somebody to catch it on the other end. They've got a good one.
Yeah, and this defense knew coming into this game that this is a difference maker, that they had to be able to slow down. And so far, they've not been able to come up with the answers on how to slow him down and take him away from the offense.
There's got to be some sense of urgency to this offense right now. They don't have the luxury of wasting drives if they want to get back in the game.
And it's a handoff to Marshall. He breaks a couple of tackles and gets pushed further back. It's a 6-yard loss. The Syracuse defense firing on all cylinders so far this game.
Second down and 16 to go. Ball on their own 19.
And once again, handoff to Mike Marshall, and it surprises nobody as he loses more yards. It's going to be third and very long to begin the fourth quarter. Chad Ryan holds on to the ball too long after escaping the pocket, and he gets sacked. It's going to be 4th and 24, forcing a punt.
Both teams are well aware that a score on this drive is going to create an almost insurmountable lead. This defense has really got to step it up.
Two tight ends here. Biner comes in motion. And there's a timeout.
Before the play clock ran out. Both teams are well aware that a score on this drive is going to create an almost insurmountable lead. This defense has really got to step it up and make a stop.
Pitch to Biner. And there's a flag on the play. And it's a face mask, so it's going to be a first down regardless of what Biner did.
So the offense will move a little bit closer with that penalty. From the 34-yard line, first down.
It's a shotgun split big now against a 3-4 defense. Tarkington scrambles out.
He scrambled.
He gets pushed out of bounds after a 3-yard gain.
31. He keeps it and maybe gets 3 yards. It's second down, 7 to go. Ball on the the 31.
2nd and 7 now. Hand off to Biner. Good push gets him to about 25-yard line.
They're eating up a lot of field on this drive. I'm really impressed with their ball control.
Touchdown, Orange.
When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. When the East is in the house. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And he hits the PAT. A 4-play, 49-yard drive. And they come away with 7 points. Looks like they're ready for the kick. He sends this one deep. This one's going to be down in the end zone for a touchback. Syracuse defense has just been awesome here in the 4th quarter.
And the thing that's really stood out to me, Brad, is that when they've needed the stops, they've gotten it and gotten the football back to their own offense and put points up.
It's going to be interesting to see
Alabama now down 17-33. Over the middle of Hall, he breaks a couple of tackles. He gets a first down and is tackled after 14. Kevin Hall's first catch of the game on the slant over the middle. Hey, yeah, no, it's great to have you. Great to have you around. Glad to see you watching the game. It is it's an interesting one because I will say Alabama doing a pretty good job on defense, but also the offense of Syracuse, doing the smart thing, accepting the number of field goals, and that's what we were expecting at some point. The triple option there from the former head coach of Air Force.
I think that's our team identity. The offense.
Second and 11 coming up now. Ball on their own 38.
Which they tried to.
3 wide receivers bunched right. Pearson on the out. He gets taken down after a 10-yard gain. It's going to be 3rd and 1.
Let's get it started. Come on. Let's go. 5
Halfback on the left, no tight end. It's been 4 wide receivers pretty much the whole game. And a huge hand in for the deflection, 4th and 1. And from their own 48, they are going to go for it with 4:41 left in the game. Welcome back, R. Bark. Glad to have you. As you can see, Alabama lining up on 4th and 1. They go for it for Hall. He gets 2 yards, and that's enough. Glad to have you all back as Alabama is in desperation mode, and it looks like they're bringing out some of the old comfort plays of their former Academy offense head coach, bringing out a fullback and 2 halfbacks. This is the pistol full house. It's a handoff to Marshall. He goes up the middle, and he gets 3. I think what X-Road means is that he's surprised that when a coach moves from team to team, they still keep the same playbook. But I think that's the point of having a coach that moves from team to team is that when you have somebody else, they have a different playbook. So everybody's got a playbook, and you got tendencies. And there's some terrible roughing on that play by Derek Brooks, the new starter, the fresh starter, never started previously for Syracuse. And so yeah, that's going to move the ball forward and give another chance to Alabama. Yes, it is definitely part of coaching philosophy.
From the 30-yard line, first down.
In fact, I think that might be the definition of coaching philosophy for CPU coaches. That's the thing that you bring with you from school to school.
Tackle at the 28-yard line.
3 yards to Mike Marshall. And it's going to be 2nd and 7. Less than 4 minutes remain in the quarter. Hey, I correctly read the X-Road's mind. I knew what he was saying. Proud of myself for that one. The ball is up and wrenched out of the hands by the defender. Well, Georgia's lost. We'll see what Bama can do in the remaining 3:27s because they're a very good team, and I, for one, will not let you tempt fate.
And that time it paid off with an incompletion.
We'll call timeout if you're not ready, Wes. Honestly, this play means enough. I'm watching you. Are you sagging?
They've got one 4th down conversion on this drive. Now they'll give it another go.
The pass to Marshall, but he's swarmed and he can't get there. It's going to be a turnover on downs for Alabama. Well, as far as games go, it's nice to have you. We're glad to have you, X-Road. It's always good to be seen in these games. We're here just about every Friday night for your viewing pleasure as Tarkenton fumbles the ball and recovers it himself.
People are like, no. You just have to sleep through a game. You can win. It's fun.
We've got a 2nd and 9 here. Ball on the 26.
Breather.
Just under 3 to go in regular
Shotgun, split big. 3-4 defense, clock ticking down. It is live for Tarkington under center. Tarkington keeps it. He's outside. He goes up the slot as the safeties come down. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
Alabama's going to take their first time out of the half.
Alabama calls a timeout on 3rd and 3. It's going to be 2:16 when the clock starts.
They need about 3 yards to get the first down here on 3rd down. They'll line up with
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 3. Tarkington scrambles.
He's scrambling.
He gets close. They call it 4th and inches.
Quarterback scramble gains 3 yards. Alabama.
Alabama calling a timeout at 2 and 11. 4th and inches. And they send the punting unit onto the field from their own 36-yard line.
Syracuse will take their last time out.
Well, especially because, I mean, they're going to have to go for the onside.
We lost our default angle and the price of regaining that by timeout.
The punt is up. It lands on the numbers. It bounces out at about the 16-yard line. It's an excellent punt.
Again, it's about stressing special teams. That is why a lot of head coaches usually run these units. It's because
They call it
just so important in the game.
the 15-yard line. Alabama with 1 timeout, 2:06, down by 16.
2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
Screen pass to Marshall. He gets hit immediately, loses 5 yards. Syracuse there.
Fast enough that they
Johnny on the spot for the screen.
completed passes. So the offense might want to consider that next time they try that play.
Second and 15 now from the right hash.
Let me go and not go and I don't know what's going on. Come on, like a puck. Can't even do it. Okay, that's fine. That's
The spike will stay.
Chad Ryan spikes the ball.
because they couldn't commit. We were trying to commit pass. Wouldn't even let us do that. Which is fine with it. It's a spike. Oh, really?
It's 3rd and 15. Ball on the 10-yard line. So an empty backfield with 5 wide receivers.
Oh, and Chad Ryan gets hit into the end zone. He's not down ahead of it. He's downed in the end zone for the defensive score.
advantage of their opportunities. Everything has led them to a very comfortable lead.
Syracuse, no more timeouts. On their own 36, there's 1:32 remaining in the game.
A fumble ended this offense's last drive. Let's see as they come out on the field what they'll do this time around.
Defense, I'm sure, will be aggressive again. They love going for the strip and attacking the football.
Tarkenton is out.
He's scrambling.
He throws it up, and it's out of bounds to nobody.
If you let this quarterback set and throw, he'll kill you all game. But they got excellent pressure on that play.
We got fucking yellow fucking one play.
From their own 36-yard line. Second down. A little over a minute in the game. Now he tries to buy some time.
Wk1 gets 1 yard on the check down to the fullback. It is going to be 3rd and 9.
Just waiting on it, and they attacked. The quarterback should have found something
Alabama
downfield.
not calling timeout, letting the clock run here.
Boys. Maybe 9 yards. And no picks.
It's 3rd down, 9 to go. Ball on the 37-yard line. They spread the field in the gun.
5 wide receivers on 3rd and 9. Tarkenton scrambles out. He's got lots of green space as his receivers draw it downfield, and he steps out of bounds to stop the clock after an 18-yard gain.
Able to get a decent gain and a first down.
2 versus 3, you're damn right. Sorry, not sorry. It's cliched and fucking lame. Time and place fits.
35 seconds from the 45-yard line of the Alabama Crimson Tide here in Tuscaloosa.
Risking an injury. He's not getting touched. If I gotta take an intentional ground,
From the 45-yard line. First down. The offense going to try to open this field up, coming out in a 5-wide set, and the defense counters with their dime look. Under heavy pressure. Quick throw.
Underneath, incomplete.
tell me he didn't get touched. He shouldn't have come touched. He did get touched. That's why he's out. That's ridiculous.
I mean, technically speaking, the fat lady, she has not sung.
Okay, no, first things first. Okay.
Fran Tarkenton with some bruised ribs. Looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the game. In the split big, Biner keeps it. The halfback playing quarterback, and it's going to be a big run.
By the power of Grayskull.
Indeed, absolutely a great game, and that really is the name in the coffin there. Nail in the coffin.
Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
I forgot. Better, faster, stronger.
And he tacks on the extra point.
Work it, make it, do it, makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over. Work it harder, make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour, work is never over.
He makes his way to about the 45.
Mike Marshall with the 20-yarder, and the clock has started.
Thank you for letting us know. Clearly, you guys. Okay.
From their own 45-yard line, it's first down.
Hall is forced out of bounds after a 3-yard gain. 4 seconds. One more play.
Yards passing. That's a good game.
That's a pretty good game.
You know, defense. Defense was the story.
It's 2nd and 7. Ball on their own 48.
Mike Marshall loses 4 yards, and that's the final seconds of the game. Defense, really the story of the game, keeping the Alabama Crimson Tide to 17 points, 7 of them on a scoop and score. So that was 10 points from the offense. Ernest Biner running the ball, but really the defense, stars of the game, keeping it in control, keeping it manageable, giving space and time to the offense for Syracuse to defeat number 2 Alabama. And the longest, slowest return in NCAA history as Love, number 32, chunks downfield. That's just an adorable choo-choo-choo-choo-choo as you see Tarkenton get around the quarterback to say, no, stop here. Thank you for joining us for this game as you see the safety now. Three beats number 2. So you scored 4 touchdowns, which is 21 points. Yes, which means you got 7 field goals. 7. 7 field goals this game. Alabama still doing work, still keeping Syracuse to 7 field goals instead of 7 touchdowns. But that was the difference in the game. Those other 3 touchdowns, the 21 more points that Syracuse needed to win. Alabama 0% on 3rd down. All right, so now we know that the other miscounting of mine is still something I'm a little bit annoyed about because I don't know where it came from because blah, 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 blah. But that's not relevant because it's no longer that season and I did fine. So, but thank you for joining us for this kickoff classic game. There were absolutely a lot of moments where either team could have taken it and it came down with Syracuse in the 3rd and the 4th. Tarkington did all right. Yep. And Biner had a lot of those in the second half, including that big run, 40-yarder at the end.
Oh, no, we were milking the clock.
Yeah.
Allworth with 9 catches? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't care if he's the focal point.
Indeed.
We don't care. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Not as dominant as... Well, I mean, it's Alabama.
Well, thank you for joining us for this first game of the NCAA League 1 season.
No injuries. Win on the road.
We're going to take a quick look at the remaining schedules for your Syracuse Orange and your Navy Midshipmen, and a quick run through of the roster for the Navy Midshipmen. But I'm going to hand the microphone over to the head coach of the Syracuse Orange to give us a rundown of their schedule for the rest of this season.
Hello, sports fans. Thank you for joining us for that Week 2 action. The start of the season. That's true. Week 1 action for the start of season 17. Thrilled to get the win. Could have been closer. They had a couple of big plays, and if the momentum had worked in their favor, then might have been a different game. But we are absolutely thrilled with the result. 4 field goals that went between the uprights, and we will take that any week. No aversion to going ahead and taking the 3. Now, looking at schedules, we have 2 user games next week. Looking at the Week 2 league schedules, we have, and these will both be available on this Twitch channel next week. Hope it could be Friday night. It might be a different night, but and it might be split up. But the 2 possible user games on this channel: Syracuse at Mississippi State. Coach R. Bark, having an excellent season last year, taking the Bulldogs from the cellar of the SEC to threaten to win the SEC West. They were in contention for a number of weeks and ended up being a very competitive team in only his first season. So now, with some bullets in his holster, we will see what Mississippi State has to offer next week. In addition, we have Navy at Hawaii. Both teams, this will be their first game of the season. It'll be the opener for both teams, neither having a game in week 1. And that could potentially happen at some point next week. We, again, don't know the current schedule on this Twitch channel. We will advise you as soon as we know, you will know. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Syracuse gets the win over Alabama. As mentioned, they will be on the road at Mississippi State, and then Hawaii at home, Central Michigan at home, at Miami, Pittsburgh at a bye, Louisville at home, and then number 8 Florida State on the road this year, in addition to Clemson, Boston College, Wake Forest, and NC State. On Navy's behalf, Navy starts the season ranked 22 in the nation, and they will put that ranking to the test in their first game next week at Hawaii, a user-user matchup against Silent Hawk. That will be followed by a bye week, and then another user game, this time at home against Utah, and then the beginning of conference play. This season's conference schedule for Navy only features one of the top teams in the opposite division, but they do in fact play in the toughest division of the conference. So every year they're guaranteed to play stringent competition. They open at Temple and then have a bye, followed by a Week 7 road game against their conference championship opponent from last year. They'll travel down to Tampa to take on the USF Bulls in Week 7. From then, they will have five. Well, they have a neutral site game in the Army-Navy game, but 4 out of 7 of their games leading up that way will be at home. Once they come home from Tampa, they'll have Southern Miss at Tulsa, a user game on the road against a 7-6 last season Central Michigan team. Home against Wk1, and then the big rivalry matchup in Week 12 on the road at Gerald Ford Stadium in Dallas, facing off against the 19th ranked Mustangs. Last season, that game depended on some fourth downs and some tense plays, and Navy won in overtime by 3. This year in Dallas, Navy will be tested. That'll be one of the games you circle on the calendar, along with probably USF in Week 7, last season's winner of the American East. Tulane lost their opening game, but still has plenty of players. They are a bowl quality team, and we await to find out the true nature of the Green Wave. They'll be paying a visit in Annapolis. Navy gets them at home this year, and then Memphis at home to close. And then Army-Navy will be a neutral site. Navy won't be able to invite recruits, but they won't be traveling to Michie Stadium. The Navy midshipmen, winners of the American Conference last year, trying to repeat, trying to set up Coach Ninja with the best opportunities possible moving forward. In the meantime, he has his signature all over this roster. They come into this season with an excellent rated team, a tribute to Coach Ninja's acumen in recruiting. We will be witnessing that develop. There is your overlook at Navy's schedule. For Syracuse's part, they start heavy on user games starting next week. We are on the road in Mississippi to face Arbark, and then Hawaii and Central Michigan. Both teams having winning records last year. Hawaii at 10-4, Central Michigan at 7-6, and then into ACC play. We hope you'll join us for weeks 2, 3, and 4. They portend to be exciting weeks of action. We thank you for joining us this week. We hope you have an excellent next week. Kick its ass.